The Israeli plan calls for the lead elements of their reserve forces, 100 tanks strong, to attack straight into Egyptian positions, break up their formations, and force them back across the canal. Leading the 217th Reserve Armored Brigade against Egyptian positions near the Ferdan Bridge is Colonel Natki Nir.
The next day, on the 8th, I received an order to move southward and to attack. On my left, another tank brigade was supposed to attack. But when I got my orders to attack towards the Firdan, there were no forces on my left. When we approached to about 650 yards from the direction of the canal, we encountered an inferno of shelling. The tank division and an infantry division with tanks were already on our side of the canal. They sat on our sand ramparts, on our side of the canal, and hunted us. We started the attack without artillery. Without air support, and the whole attack depended on tanks. It was the first time we understood that the Egyptians were equipped with thousands of Sager missiles.
The AT-3 Sager is a Soviet-designed portable anti-tank guided missile. Fitted with a 5.7-pound warhead, the Sager can penetrate 8 inches of armor at ranges of nearly 2 miles. But its most deadly feature is a wire guidance system, which allows the operator to steer the missile all the way to the target.
The operator has an optical sight, and he concentrates on the target, fires the missile, and using a joystick, literally direct the missile onto the target at distance. It's effective. And it allows Egyptian Sager operators to fire volleys of missiles with a fairly good hit rate. So that the small numbers of Israeli tanks that are charging at them wind up suffering heavy casualties, much heavier than they had ever expected.
My battalion faced mainly Sager missiles. They did a job on my brigade. I gave an order to retreat. This is the only time in my life that I gave such an order. Out of the approximately 22 tanks, 6 got out, and the rest were all destroyed. This was a different army. This was not the same army I fought against in the Six-Day War.
They crushed the Israeli counterattack on October 8, crushed it completely.
This is an unbelievable victory by the Egyptians, something that they have never achieved beforehand, and it is a stunning reversal for the Israelis.
في اليوم الأول واليوم الثاني فوجئنا على السفياجور الإسرائيلي، فدخل من ثغرة تابعة لمنطقة الإسماعيلية اسمها الدفرسوار. فطبعا هو لما دخل عشان يخش على شعب الإسماعيلية وشعب مصر، ودي تبقى هنا في حقنا طبعا لما ناس تعدي سيني ولواء إسرائيلي يعدي عندنا، ده كانت عيبة كبيرة في حقنا، فاحنا قطعنا عليه من عند قناة السويس وحصرناه.
كانت أرض سيناء مسرحا لأكبر معارك الدبابات في التاريخ، ففي مثل هذا اليوم هاجم لواء مدرع 190 الإسرائيلية قواتنا التي تصدت له، وكانت معركة ضارية حطم فيها جنودنا البواسل دبابات العدو ومدرعاته، كما تمكنت من أسر قائد عسافياجوري والعشرات من جنوده، وقد بلغت خسائر إسرائيل في هذه المعركة نحو 120 دبابة وعربة مدرعة.
This is the Sinai Peninsula, approximately 10 miles from the banks of the Suez Canal. In 1973, thousands of men fought and died here. Now the carcasses of their killing machines are all that remain to mark their passing.
The tank battle is similar to the dinosaur fights of long ago. The fighting is intense and gruesome. The one who has the first blow is the victor.
On October 8, 1973, after 2 days of steadily losing ground to the Egyptian army, the commanders of the Israeli Defense Forces felt the time was right for a counterattack. Most of the strongholds along the Bar-Lev line had been overrun, but a few still held out, and the IDF was determined to rescue them. But communications problems, misunderstandings, poor intelligence gathering, and a continued refusal to take the Egyptian army seriously resulted in disaster. What was intended to be a division-sized, combined arms assault turned into a suicide mission. After the war, the events of October 8th were the subject of extensive investigation. Ultimately, the blame was laid at the feet of the senior commanders, who stayed well away from the front lines and disregarded the counsel of their field commanders. The battle is one of the most controversial in IDF history.
This is an M60 tank which was driven by the Israeli commander Asafyagouri, commander of the 190th Armored Battalion, which attacked our forces that were pushing from the West Bank to the East Bank towards the center.
The tank the Egyptians stood up as a statue for their victory is a joke. First of all, the tank they display is a pattern, and my tanks were all Centurion. Secondly, my tank exploded. The entire Israeli attack consisted of one battalion attacking from all the armed forces. My battalion against a whole army entrenched in ditches and positions with tanks and artillery, there was no chance that a battalion would beat such an army in a daylight attack, especially being just a few hundred meters range from the canal. In this hopeless battle, almost all of our tanks were destroyed. The battalion commander's platoon, which consisted of 3 tanks, reached together with me the stronghold line, which is where we were supposed to go. Only at that time, we were left with 3 lone tanks. The battalion deputy commander's tank got a hit and blew up. A 3rd tank caught fire and started to burn. My tank took a direct hit in its tread. The Saggers opened fire. My consideration was, should we stay in this fire trap or get the crew out, at least to save the people?
Asaf Yaguri and his crew were taken prisoner, and Yaguri became Egypt's highest-ranking Israeli POW. When the war ended, he was the last soldier released. Now the IDF realizes that removing Egypt from the Sinai will not be a simple task.
How well are the Egyptians fighting you at the moment? Are they more stubbornly than before? Yes, I think that they have no ground to complain under their forces. I think they should have very basic ground to complain under their politicians, but I don't think the soldiers should be blamed. No, nothing wrong with the soldiers.